The MCAT is one of the hardest entrance exams to professionalism in the entire world. I studied for it and took it while my wife was pregnant. I was working and going to school and volunteering and doing all the other pre-med things. And my wife's pregnancy was also very difficult. So there were a lot of things on my plate as I was studying for this exam, a lot of things that my family was going through, but I still managed to get an 89th percentile score, which I'm very proud of. And I'm not even somebody who's particularly good at test taking. I had to retake the SAT and the ACT both like 2 or 3 times. That was after taking a prep course. So I don't consider myself to be any test genius or genius in general. I just make sure that I put a lot of time into whatever I am pursuing, and that usually helps me get the job done. It was no different here for the MCAT. So in this video, I want to explain exactly how I manage my time as a father, taking care of a pregnant wife with everything else going on. So first, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what I actually did to study for the MCAT, what resources I used. You'll hear a lot of people talk about Anki, and I used Anki, but if I'm being completely honest, I didn't even finish probably most of my Anki decks that I was using. Would I have gotten a better score if I had? Maybe. The actual progress that I made in increasing my MCAT score came from other resources. Anki I still think is incredibly important and helped me in a ton of ways, and I did a lot of Anki, don't get me wrong, but I felt like other documents and resources like, for example, the 300-page psychology sociology document that I'll link in the description was incredibly impactful, and I ended up getting a perfect score on that section. I was also given a bunch of Princeton review books from one of my friends who scored incredibly well on the MCAT. He got 100th percentile, and I did not find those books very helpful either. I would be doing problems in that book of extremely obscure topics that after doing them and not knowing tons about the MCAT, thinking, oh, the MCAT could totally test on this. There's a lot of stuff in those books that the MCAT will never test on because it is way out of depth for the MCAT. But those books will make you feel like they're going to be on the MCAT, and they'll make you want to pull your hair out when you can't get those questions right, and it just hurts you in the end. If you're going to do Princeton Review or Kaplan, take those questions with a grain of salt. When you're wondering what the MCAT wants you to know and what the MCAT doesn't want you to know, do the AAMC material that you can buy online. That is your best litmus test of what could actually be on the MCAT. And there's even some stuff in there that I was like kind of raising my eyebrows at, like, really, AAMC, really, you're going to test me on this? Please excuse me, guys. I'm going to film this next part in the car. There's literally nowhere else for me to film right now. We're just going to make do with what we have. The MCAT is literally the opposite of therapy. But going through the whole process taught me that doing well on the MCAT is absolutely possible for anybody that puts in the right amount of time and strategically allocates their studying time to the right resources. I'm going to talk about those resources a little bit in this video. Now, I was able to score really, really well in psychology sociology. At the end of the day, I am a psychology major. I think that had to do with it, but I also know that my preparation had to do with that a lot. As far as the other sections go, the things that helped me the best prepare for those sections was honestly YouTube videos. YouTube is the absolute crown jewel of MCAT prep, at least for me. There are some incredible YouTube resources out there. I'm gonna drop a few of them right now, and I'll add them in later when I probably remember more while editing this video. But just right off the top of my head, Eightfold MCAT, Leah for Sci is really, really good for understanding the math side. The Brem method, Science Simplified. Honestly, Science Simplified is probably up there in the #1 spot. And IFD, Informing Future Doctors. These channels were very instrumental in my content review and mastering my biochemical pathways. Another really, really helpful practice when I was studying for the MCAT was going over my amino acids and biochemical pathways. I would literally just write them all down on a piece of paper, everything that I could remember on the subject, basically trying to wring every single bit of information out of my brain, and then I would check it with a YouTube video or with different flashcards to make sure that I was getting everything right, and then I would do it again, and then rinse, repeat. And I would do that almost every single day. That really helped me recall that information immediately on test day when I needed it, and helped me save a lot of time. What are some things that I did wrong when studying for the MCAT? I underestimated the importance of taking care of my own health. There were a lot of days that I just tried to push through and ignore my physical and emotional health. And while I do believe that that can be important to do sometimes, it is not a sustainable long-term strategy. What I would have done differently looking back is, even if it were just 20 or 30 minutes a day, going on a run or going to the gym super fast, just to get my heart rate up, get my blood pumping, and to physically exert myself, because I literally lost 15 pounds studying for the MCAT from skipping meals and not exercising. That's not going to drive well in medical school if I keep that up. So I've been taking care of my physical health a lot better. Easy to say when I don't have that much going on, when I'm literally done with secondaries. I am trying to get into a habit and into a rhythm of going to the gym and eating healthier and eating more. I know that kind of sounds weird, but sometimes I'll just skip meals so that I can study more, and that just does not work. I totally would have changed that, and I believe that would have helped my overall mental sanity studying for the MCAT. There were some times where I took some pretty good breaks. Maybe it was 2 weeks before the MCAT. I went on a ski day with my wife and her family. It was really weird to just not think about the MCAT for an entire day, but I actually think it helped me get a good score on my practice full length that I took that week. There was how many point jump was it? 509 to a 516 that week. And that was like 5 or 6 days before I took the actual MCAT. I really do think that in the weeks and months leading up to the MCAT, it is really important to take those breaks and just take a day off where you let your mind and your body rest. You don't have to push so hard every single day. It really helps you figuratively sharpen the axe if you just take a day off, and it is okay to do that. I don't want this video to be only tailored to people that are pre-med dads. Obviously, there's not that many pre-med dads out there, right? It's a pretty niche group of people, but I'm making this video more for the general audience of if you are somebody who is juggling lots of things in life, you have big dreams and you're working towards them and you just don't know how or if it's going to work out. I'm telling you, just take it one day at a time and it'll work out. My wife and I have a phrase that we say to each other when life gets hard, and that's, life is hard, but it's good hard. I absolutely stake everything that I do in life on this saying. I want to choose the good hard path because life isn't all about sipping martinis on a yacht. People might think that that's really what they want, that they could do that every single day for the rest of their lives, but we would all go insane if that was our reality. The best life lived is one where we struggle towards something meaningful. I wholeheartedly believe that. Going throughout this whole process, although it's been extremely hard, has been extremely good at the same time. I want to encourage all of you guys to chase those good hard dreams and stake your life on it. And I promise that it will all be worth it. If you do it in the right way, if you do it with balance, if you do it with humility and with gratitude, realizing that you're lucky to do the good hard life. There's actually a really good video from IFD, Informing Future Doctors. Or is it Inspiring? I literally can't remember. I'm so sorry, guys. The main guy on that channel made a video about feeling lucky to be on the path that we're on to become physicians someday. And I think that is the best perspective, the best mindset that we could have going into anything in life, not just medicine. Feel lucky to struggle. Feel lucky to work hard. Now, I know I didn't cover everything from my MCAT journey in this video, so if there is something that I missed, please drop it in the comments. I also just want to say thank you to my amazing supportive wife, Megan. She is absolutely everything to me in my life. She's encouraged me to pursue my dreams, and she is the best mom in the entire world. And I'm so grateful to have her in my life. So grateful for the wonderful person that she is. One of the best moments that we had was when I actually got to open up my MCAT score. I was actually at a research conference in Seattle, the Sleep 2025 research conference. And I was at breakfast with my roommate and I heard that my MCAT score was out. I knew it was going to come sometime that morning, but I didn't know quite when. And I stepped out of breakfast, FaceTimed Megan, shared my screen with her, and I clicked the see results button. And that was one of the coolest moments of my whole life, sharing that moment with her, even though she was in Arizona, I was in Seattle, and it was a little chaotic. You know, I might have gotten a 514 on the MCAT, but it was really us who did it. And I tell her all the time, we got a 514 on the MCAT. That was not just me, that was totally you as well. So keep working hard, everyone. Stay happy. Fique firme, forte e feliz. Ciao, ciao.